Running becomes very important because umpiring is made up of running, but it's also important that you just don't continue to run. There might be some cross-training going on. It might be swimming one day or something like that. But it's also important that you do go out there as part of your fitness and work with teams, whether or not it's identifying, the skill levels of players to see what you can take on board with what they're doing and that sort of thing. So that's also a very important part of the overall picture in fitness.
Melbourne have a new centre. It's Michelle Benison. Get to the full list of changes in a moment. But position was a little better in the second quarter, Anne.
Yes, definite recovery from Melbourne, and Southby staying on target. She's been really consistent through the match, 6 from 8 at 75%. Arnott lifting 2 with 5 from 9 at 55. Possession much better for Melbourne. Sydney a touch quieter, but still enjoying a great margin. 6 from 8 for Morgan, 6 from 7 from Cusack. 85% fine stats for her.
Southby has moved back from goal shooter to goal attack. Arnott's gone to the bench. Jocelyn Bryant is on as goal shooter as Sue Kenny takes a fall. He's okay.
Penalty. On the whistle.
McKinnis, Benison.
Anything.
Taverner struggling with that one. Was awkward for her.
Play. Barney to touch the wing attack.
Dalwood to Cusack.
Barney to stop swing.
Morgan, fingertip control.
Cusack holding off Taverner. A lot of movement in the post again. Morgan forcing her way through, and maybe Nikki Cusack owes her that dot on the score sheet.
Benison. Southby. Haven't seen a lot of Eloise at goal attack.
Yes, there you are.
No, she lacks the speed of other players, but she and Benison offered a nice drive to the circle. Then a Bryant, quite a slick mover.
Benison to Fliner. Southby to Bryant. This is looking a little better
Obstruction, goal defender.
for Melbourne.
Step back, yes.
Southby touches it again. Devery.
Barney obstruction, goal attack.
Devery supports. Kosyfas has it. Finnan. Dalwood looking for Kenny. How quick was that? And that. Take that. Oh, won't. Oh, Cusack's got it back. A little lucky.
From behind, goal defender.
Sure, Sydney remember each time they step out that 3 of their players were former Australian players who, for the last couple of years, have lost weight with selectors and have seen themselves forced out for younger players. So I'm sure they step out and think, well, this is the best we can do, and certainly putting it out there in this game.
Contact, goal defender.
Was wrestled to the ground was Nikki Cusack. Taverner out of play for her enthusiasm.
Morgan, arms too long and too quick.
It was a good stretch from Jenke. She did the best she could, but Morgan right through her.
Barney's breaking wing attack.
That's 2-2 through the first 3 minutes of the third quarter. Melbourne have got to start addressing this deficit. Southby, Finnan fending, Southby. True.
Be interesting to watch Southby's accuracy now that she has greater workload to contribute down court.
Barney's breaking wing attack.
Cusack and Kenny.
It was just placed on Cusack's hip as she flew to the post.
Well, that's years of playing together, but it's also some raw talent in there. There aren't too many other players who can do it so effortlessly.
No, it's hard to imagine as you watch them play at this level, you know, players that are better for those positions.
Southby. This third quarter assuming the proportions of the first, except it's falling the opposite way. Morgan to Kenny. It certainly wasn't in the first 15 minutes the Melbourne we've seen in previous matches. This is now. So 2.5 minutes to go in the third.
crossing.
And the last quarter should be a beauty.
Yep.
This match really sending mixed messages to both teams. There's good and bad for both of them to take away from Brisbane. And just spare a thought for the other Sydney team and the two Adelaide sides who must not be able to make much of it all round.
Yes.
Bryant. Pat Chappell, manager, can afford a smile. Norma, implacable.
Barney's break, wing attack.
Cusack. To Dalwood.
Oh, Jenke spoils that one.
Just as the matches went on, Jenke and Taverner just reading the moves that much better and making more of them.
I think Morgan stopped moving. I think she's resorted under pressure to more of the holds. And I think we're seeing the movement from the Melbourne defenders cut that short. Remember, the first quarter and early in the second, Morgan was caught in full flight many times and providing ample movement for the Sydney line. There's the hold again.
Dalwood, well, both holding there for a moment. Cusack.
And even that one going against her, she gets caught for pushing off. So if she can think back to the movement she found with such confidence early on, it'd be useful to her now.
Next to her.
1 minute to go in the third. And it's Sydney by 5.
On the hands, pass or shot, yes.
By 4. Bryant. Fliner.
Southby puts the screen on. Bryant drives the ball and drives that one through. She's got a game in her hands.
Dalwood to Kenny. Morgan. She's going to shoot from that far.
Well, of course, to sink that one would have been a great confidence booster for the Sydney team. Time is up.
Benison was a bit late. Cusack gets it away in time. That's 8 goals for Sydney in that quarter and 18 for Melbourne. So they've really addressed the problem, and it's going to be a lively last 15 minutes. It's 40-36 at three-quarter time. Benison starts the quarter, and it's a loose pass to Fliner. Gives us a chance to look at the third quarter stats.
Well, just look at Melbourne run at home. 23 to Sydney's 14 shots at goal. 11 from 13 for Bryant. A great introduction to the game for her. Southby moved to goal attack. She put up 7 from 10, 70%. Sydney Energy, though, only 3 from 5 for Morgan. Only 5 chances for their main striker. Nikki Cusack quiet too with 5 from 9 at 55%.
Pinpoint accuracy on the feed for Morgan, and Sydney first to score in the last. Sydney not making any changes. The team that did it in the first quarter ought to be able to do it in the last, I guess. Carol Sutton must figure.
Well, there's a difference in experience when you look to the bench from what's on court. That's not to say they're not talented, but we've got the most experience available Sydney out there. How important was that first centre for Melbourne? If they could have scored from that and made margin 3, they could well have got into the game straight away. That almost a silly error from Bryant. It was worth the shot.
Southby goals. Melbourne just need 2 converted turnovers to find themselves on level terms. Taverner finds one of them. Fliner.
That's how you lift a team.
Where did she come from? She came very quickly.
Contact and goal to keeper. Shuttle pass.
Contact against Devery.
He doesn't enjoy the call. Taverner fast onto the ball, and again, seen it earlier in the game. The stop on the tape was the undoing for Cusack.
Dalwood to Finnan, to Kenny, to Cusack. I haven't found the drive or the ease of possession that they had in the first quarter.
Advantage, obstruction, wing advantage, contact, centre.
Cusack, Kenny kept it in. Benison took it one-handed. All the skills these players. Benison. Bryant.
Contact, wing defence.
Bryant and Southby just playing a positional switch. Don't need to change the actual bibs on tops to do that. Temporarily seeing Southby back. Bryant doing the work up front.
Bryant brings a little bit of extra height, replacing Arnott. About 5 centimetres difference. Bryant coming in at 183. That's helped their cause a bit. Benison to Finnan. Bryant comes out. Ooh, there was something on that pass. Devery. Finnan. Dalwood. Kenny. Morgan.
Keeper, contact, pass or shot. Shooter.
3.5 minutes gone in the last quarter. Still a 4-goal game.
Just a bit going on between Denke and Morgan. Jinky might have been suggesting to Morgan that she took a fall on that last one and that she should stand up and take it. But maybe that can be lip sunk at home another time.
Kenny. Dalwood hounded by McKinnis. Cusack cross court to Kenny again. Well, Kenny has really worked out how to feed Morgan. It's worth the swag of goals every game.
Break wing.
Kenny having a look, puts it up. Well placed to the space behind.
Finnan at the other end. Finds Southby and now Bryant.
Good vision from Southby to Bryant. Great timing on the dodge.
Well, the closeness and the skill of this contest should please Jill McIntosh and Pam Smith there. Jill McIntosh has got to elect a captain of the Australian team shortly. It's a fairly complicated story with Vicky Wilson yet to come back from injury.
Yes, well, of course, many think that if she's back from injury, she might have front running for captaincy.
Simone McKinnis, another starter, and she's in this match.
Yes, well, they haven't disclosed who's in contention. We're presuming a few of the contenders. But what's happened is they've put it to the entire squad to nominate if they wish to be considered for captaincy. Those nominees have been shortlisted and will go before an interview panel consisting of our national coach, executive director, and our national president.
5 is the lead for Sydney. Plenty of time for Melbourne to find these required turnovers. Kenny.
Free pass.
Dal just stood her ground and waited for Benison to fall in offside. She obliged. Usually no room for Shell.
Good speed then from Benison to disrupt that feed. Dalwood to Cusack. See Taverner there just holding off. She'd rather work and assist in shutting out Morgan.
So the Sydney bench there, Leanne McKilson, the physio, Joe Kenny, manager, Carol Sykes on the right.
Obstructs, wing defence, and contact, wing attack.
Finnan. Southby to Bryant. It's a little less frantic this last quarter. They're treasuring possession a little bit more.
Well, I think Sydney would have to go out realising that they've built a lead, and if they're composed about it and skillful about it, they should be able to carry away the game. It's Melbourne that have to chase. It's Melbourne that should be in the hurry.
Here's the turnover. Contact against Cusack. She was under a lot of pressure.
Morgan doing well then. She held up the outlet from Jenke.
Finnan to Bryant. It's up to the goalers now and the feeders.
Difficult to find some space around Finnan and Devery and
Kosyfas was out.
Kosyfas.
Kosyfas, foreign exchange dealer. She's giving a little change to Melbourne today. Finnan. Kenny. Leaves it for Dalwood. Cusack over the top for Morgan. Once more the blind pass. She uses it sparingly, but twice it's been a gem from Joe Morgan.
We see there, look to the top of the circle. The offload goes to Cusack. It's probably just as well. Simone McKinnis was probably the one going to receive that ball at the top of the circle.
Well, it's one thing to do it, it's another to know it's coming. Cusack did well.
Yes, it rests with Cusack. As you say, there's no point wiping and rolling it if there's not Cusack's hands at the end of it.
Dalwood. Kenny.
Offside, wing defend, ran obstruction.
Cusack again. 7 minutes to go. 5 the lead for Sydney.
Next
Been a tough game, a lot of body on court. This one for a little more breathing space for Sydney.
9-7. Sydney shading Melbourne in this last quarter. Kosyfas. Take a bit on that far side. Now they use the width of the court a bit better. Dalwood.
Barnage contact swing.
Morgan.
Is that McKinnis to Morgan?
Well, it really was, wasn't it? They'll take it. It's McKinnis from behind Kenny, and it might have been her hand that dished it off to Morgan. Kenny again. Oh, it came in by surprise. Jenky didn't quite have enough time to get up for it. Morgan's always on the lookout for them. The high ball in. Sydney looking a bit more comfortable. Liner. Bryant.
Instruction, keep up on the start. Shot pass, you up. Energy.
Well, a goal to Melbourne, but it's slipping away from them. Dalwood to Kenny. 5.5 minutes left in the match. And Sydney, after being given a mighty fright in the third quarter, look like they might be able to take it home from here. Taverner. Liner looking for Bryant. Southby's at the putt.
Offside wing.
Benison centre pass. 6 is Sydney's lead. And under 5 minutes to go.
Contact over shoulder. Kenny's shuttle pass.
I really think come the semi-finals and you can throw the result of this match out the window. They've shown at various stages that they're a great match for each other, these two teams.
Absolutely. You couldn't credit in a game between two teams that should run goal for goal. You could have both dominate so convincingly at different times in the match. And I think once they've found complete form by semi-finals, you won't see the margin get away on either team. And if you think back to other matches we've had, other Sydney entry has been all powerful in one of their matches. Contact has come through, a baptism of fire to beat Garville. I mean, how could you predict the outcome of this competition?
4 minutes left. And 4 is the lead. Melbourne aren't done with yet.
Oh, Devery up well.
On the sideline.
Had a fun game.
Well, exactly right, Melbourne off, but I didn't like the chances a minute or two ago. But now they're looking like they're back in the picture. Sydney aren't careful here. They'll present themselves a problem in the last couple of minutes. Kosyfas.
So I was just about to say, you notice Dalwood's quite steady on the walk back to the centre now, not wishing to rush things. Well, Cusack made a good move to the post. That one goes against Taverner.
Well, Taverner saw the backward move from Dalwood and picked some room for herself. She's just a fraction of a second late. But it's Jenky's rebound. They can come out anyway. Now it's Taverner. Jenky supports. Benison's there. Fliner, touch from Kosyfas.
Off the wing attack.
And they said it's off the wing attack. Melissa Adams inciting a riot from the neutral ground.
Yeah, well, she had the perfect view of it, Melissa. The players had their backs to us. A bit hard for us to call.
It was obviously Kosyfas that disrupted it, but I think it might have ricocheted off Liner, according to the umpire, and that's all we'll go by.
It's made it that much harder for Melbourne. 2.5 minutes to go. Finnan soak up a few seconds, push it out. Benison, Bryant, Liner. Unfortunately for Melbourne, they've got to score them quickly.
And trying to ram that one home. It needed more touch than force.
And Devery was there to delay things again.
Body contact centre.
Bryant. Cusack. Dalwood. Kenny up again for Morgan. Is so well placed. Well, you think on those lobbed feeds in, there'd be time enough to jump up, but she gets rid of the ball so quickly, it does upset your timing.
The other thing is, if Morgan holds to the very end, there's very little room to jump. If Morgan goes early, you can go up and contest it, but if she holds the ground to the very end, pretty well snookered on the outcome.
minute 20 to go. Sydney by 4. Morgan. Finnan to Cusack. Sydney, having only played one game, wouldn't have wanted to lose this match, because then feel that they were in some danger of having a perilous run to the semi-final. But I think they're going to make it 2 wins, 2 starts now as we get inside the last minute. And Southby to make the lead just 5. Doesn't, and Finnan's there first. Dalwood up for it. Kosyfas, Kenny and Morgan. Morgan's been a little better this last quarter after a quiet third. He's moving around better. So Finnan chases after it. Down the sideline centre, it's Dalwood. Again, a good use of the width of the court. Cusack bounce pass to Kenny. Sydney bringing this home and scoring a couple of late goals to push the margin out to 8. But except for a little sleep in the third quarter or a resurgence from Melbourne, Sydney look predominant, and they're headed again for the semi-finals, the defending champions of the MOBIL League, and they take this match against Melbourne 57-49. And Sargent is with Keely Devery.
Thanks, Steve. Well, Keely, if you look at the scoreboard now, you feel comfortable, but I'm sure if you watch a replay, it's the first quarter you want to watch over and over.
Oh, exactly. It was just typical us. It's sort of like go berserk for the first quarter, and then we tend to have a bit of a snooze, which we really should have pushed home, keep going, because they were a bit deflated, and I think we really should have kept going, but let them in a little bit too much. And once they had a sniff of it, they just went berserk.
I don't know about deflated. They must have been demoralised. You wouldn't expect an opening quarter like that, though. You're the ones that have come off only one match to date in the series. They've had 3 to run it in.
Well, exactly. We're feeling confident, but not overly prepared. We would have preferred to have a few more games under our belt before we hit Melbourne Puma. But, yeah, so we were quite surprised, but it was no excuse for sort of sitting back and